I've added Primo to my mix, and since I did that, my estrogen levels came down to range level, like proper range levels. Like I was a
Okay.
high converter. I don't have a lot of body fat, but the application of therapeutic testosterone, even in like normal dosages, like 100, 120, 125 milligrams per week, I convert high. Like I'm right at the top of the range, right?
Oh, really? Okay.
So
Yeah.
Primo for me was like perfect. Well, yeah, that's like one of the things that stresses your body and your organs is
Yeah.
high caloric, consumption. That's why there's a lot of medical experts that are talking more and more about fasting and like giving your given like the road works a little bit of a break, so you take food out of the
Absolutely.
equation, right?
Yeah.
I've never heard you talk about metformin, and that's one of the drugs it's probably one of the most well-researched drugs. And I've got a good friend who basically says, the trifecta that you want to take for longevity and for health is TRT, metformin. What was the other one that he had? Oh, and Cialis, for like kidney health and heart health and vascular, dilation, that sort of stuff.
And another performance, but that's somewhere else.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
But
added benefit, right?
yeah, you've got a lot of benefits. But I mean, like, what's your take on metformin? Because I've never heard you talk about it.
So usually I talk from the context of bodybuilding, which is now slowly changing, right?
Which, by the way, guys, so you know what it is, in case you're unfamiliar, it's a drug normally given to diabetics to help manage their blood sugar.
Right. So the pharmacology of metformin is as following. It's a drug that lowers glucose release from the liver. And as a result of that, it also lowers gastric emptying. So it keeps the serum concentrations of your blood glucose more stable, increasing insulin sensitivity over time, right? So normally when you eat a meal, you digest it quite rapidly in the beginning, and then so your concentrations go up and then kind of come down. And as they're very, very high, same as a bigger injection of testosterone, that's where the side effects occur. So the metformin helps to regulate your glucose levels, allowing your body adequate time to absorb the glucose into the muscle and not have this super pulse of insulin following a meal. So in this action, it improves insulin sensitivity. And the added benefit of metformin is that it also lowers IGF-1 secretion in the liver, which as a bodybuilder you kind of want, because IGF-1 helps with nutrient partitioning, nutrient uptake, and eventually results in muscle growth, right? If you train for bodybuilding. So usually the bodybuilders avoid the metformin. But as you get older, you realize, life is finite and I don't want so much anabolism and growth and all that stuff going on in my body. It's better to reduce the IGF-1 and then not be so subject to aging. So this is why we take metformin, because IGF-1 is directly correlated with aging. So if you keep your IGF-1 levels down, you age less rapidly, but it also means that you recover less rapidly. Now you have testosterone to compensate, and most guys are in testosterone and growth hormone a little bit, which secretes IGF-1, but then you blunt that with metformin. But this is the funny thing about hormone replacement. You start with one direction, and then it gets a little bit more complicated as you notice the benefits of each compound.
So,
but
are
it's
you
a very
a
good
supporter of
combination.
it for aging men, or like what's your take on
I
it?
think so. Yeah, I think by the age of 40, you should add it in. But if you have the aspirations to be a phenomenally large bodybuilder, then there's no place for it. But for anti-aging, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and I might consider to add it in the future, because right as of now, I have no aspirations to be gigantic anymore. I'm trying to keep my weight down so I don't have these health issues come back.
What's your ideal weight for the optics of strength and masculinity?
I think about 95 kilos, 200 pounds. Yeah, especially in Asia. Like I noticed that besides the interaction with people and how you're positioned with women, it's also uncomfortable.
Yeah,
being big, right? And usually my cutoff is about 225 pounds, and I'm not the tallest guy, so it's already pretty heavy for me. So that's where I'm trying to keep it. Yeah.
Let me catch up on some of these questions in super chat. Steve, please comment on what some see as the overuse of AI. So that's aromatase inhibitors, which basically limit the conversion of testosterone to estrogen in the man's body. A lot of cookie cutter clinics in North America will just say, here's 200 milligrams of testosterone. Here's an AI tab, take every 3 days. and
Yeah.
go off and have some fun. Would be great for the community here. So what's your take on AIs, generally speaking?
So there's some unique side effects of aromatase inhibitors, which are usually related to low estradiol. So if you overuse aromatase inhibitors, you get low estrogen, which then cascades into all kinds of issues, right? Libido issues, joint pain, horrible lipid levels. And of course, hormone replacement therapy is going to change your lipids anyway. So you need a little bit of estradiol to help with cardioprotection, to keep your HDL and LDL ratio favorable. So the overuse of AIs it's very easy to mitigate that. You go in for blood work, you check your estradiol and your lipid levels, and you make an adjustment. Now, the cookie cutter clinics, they will put you on test and Arimidex, right? Which in a lot of cases is not required. Like if you change your injection frequency, even though it's more cumbersome, you go with daily injections, 25 milligrams, 35 milligrams, however many milligrams you feel comfortable with, you get more stable serum concentrations of testosterone and more stable serum concentrations of estradiol. Maybe you don't need an aromatase inhibitor. Or you get your body fat levels lower because a lot of the testosterone converts into estradiol in the body fat.
Yeah.
So you see a lot of guys that go on TRT. Like TRT nowadays is like the new midlife crisis sports car.
Yeah.
That's right. You're like, feel a bit old, low libido, not really motivated, not financially secure enough for a sports car, or you see it as a poor investment. Maybe I should do some TRT. But you need to be in a good state of health and have low body fat levels, at least below 12%. And then the outcome of going on TRT is far more positive than going on TRT when you're sick and stressed and fat and unhealthy, and you're still not following the lifestyle of right, making your own food and going to the gym and that kind of stuff. So plus then the dose is usually higher to get the same good feeling than a guy that's already healthy and can get away with far less. So with TRT, there's a lot of methods to manage your estradiol, including TRT plus. That's what I'm doing. 150 milligrams of testosterone per week, and then 100 milligrams of Primobolan on top, because Primobolan acts as a reversely binding aromatase inhibitor. It takes the place of testosterone in the aromatase enzyme, and just like Arimidex or Aromasin or Privarin, it just temporarily blocks it. Well, Aromasin permanently blocks it, but it temporarily blocks testosterone from entering the aromatase enzyme. And because Primobolan doesn't convert into estradiol, now testosterone is not allowed to convert into estradiol. So you keep your levels very stable. Yeah. And I found for myself, it works very well to have testosterone and Primobolan in about a 1-to-1 ratio. To right, you get the additional anabolism of Primo, you get a little bit leaner gains. Right, you don't hold so much water, subcutaneous water, more quality muscle, right? You have a better appearance. So about 150 tests, 125 milligrams of Primo, which is obviously TRT plus, but I'm still a bodybuilder, so I feel that I need a little bit more. And that's basically the new way to approach it. So you don't even need an aromatase inhibitor. You don't need to have to worry about low estrogen levels and all the negative effects that come from low estrogen. So just by managing it a little bit more accordingly. Yeah,
I'll say this. I've added Primo to my mix, and since I did that, my estrogen levels came down to range level, like proper range levels. Like I was a high converter. I don't have a lot of body fat, but the application of therapeutic testosterone, even in like normal dosages, like 100, 120, 125 milligrams per week, I convert high. Like I'm right at the top of the range, right?
Oh, really? Okay.
So Primo for me was like perfect. It's hard to get though.
Are you taking any zinc?
I am taking zinc. Yeah. I'm taking probably about 50 milligrams of zinc daily.
Okay, that's good. That's good because that also acts as a little bit of an aromatase inhibitor indirectly.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
I use DIM. I've used CDG as well, which which I found work. But I mean, the thing that's like the easiest is just add some Primo to the mix, and it's done. It's taken care of.
Right. Plus you get to look better. So and you feel better. You get a little bit of additional hematocrit, which is good for performance. And then I don't see an issue regarding hematocrit because again, a Primobolan was prescribed as a method to raise hematocrit, right? So that's what it's medically prescribed for.
Is that right?
And muscle wasting disease.
Because both hemoglobin and hematocrit for me came down. Now,
oh really? Okay.
I don't know if it's because I bought a sauna, and I've heard like applying infrared sauna to your body, which I usually do about 45 minutes a day. Not so much in the summertime because I'm out in the sun sweating anyway. But
Mhm.
apparently it like thins your blood a little bit. I don't know if that's true.
Oh, really? I don't know.
I
No,
don't know.
that I don't know. Yeah, maybe it could be that you're increasing your metabolic rate, and it's the same as like niacin. It to help with lipids. It opens up the capillaries, allowing for more blood flow, and maybe the
Okay,
sauna is increasing blood flow, allowing for lower hematocrit levels.
that's probably it.
Speculating a little bit, so don't hold me accountable to this,
Don't.
but
Sorry.
whatever works. Like the funny thing is, there's so many methods to optimize something,
Hmm.
and with hormone replacement or bodybuilding, you just do what works for your body, considering it's not doing anything unhealthy.
Yeah.
So if you do
And
the
like
sauna,
everybody's
do an
body
out,
is going to respond differently to different
yeah.
inputs too. Yeah,
Otherwise, we would all look the same, and we could do the same cookie cutter approach, right? We're all
exactly.
uniquely different. If you do the sauna, I would recommend a little bit of an ice pack to chill the area.
I think I'm going to get
Um,
a ice bath for afterwards. So I can sauna first, and I'm going to go into an ice bath afterwards. So that'll be the next thing I add to the regime.
have a look at some of the fertility studies where they show that increasing your testicle what is temperature beyond a certain range for a certain amount of time, that it completely arrests spermatogenesis. You're no
Is that right?
longer producing sperm. Yeah.
So you
So
sterilize yourself sitting in a sauna.
yeah, and a hot
Perfect.
bath also. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Even though it's very, very enjoyable, right? And you get a little bit of a sweat going, you remove some toxins that
Yeah.
way. Apparently, it's also not good for fertility. But
Okay.
well, this day and age, you might want to have an impaired fertility anyway. So
Yeah. I mean, I'm not interested in having any more kids. Yeah, I was going to say because we mentioned Primo a few times, and I don't think you can get it from a TRT clinic in the US. I know you get it
no,
like you can get it in Mexico over the counter. I'm sure you get it in Thailand. So
yeah.
you're gonna have to find somebody that is a home brewer. I mean, that's where I get mine from.
Yeah, or an online source. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, or an
So
online source. Um,
where there's a will, there's a way. I would
yeah,
always say. Yeah,
and it's a wonderful compound. It's great. But again, if you're predisposed to losing your hair, it'll probably accelerate it. Just heads up, so you know.
yeah.
Um,
Another fair warning for Primo is if you have sleep apnea or you're a little bit higher body weight and you're snoring at night, you wake up gasping for air, and you didn't do a sleep study yet, or you don't have a CPAP,
mhm,
that is also causing your hematocrit to go up.
that's right. Yeah, yeah.
So if you're on TRT,
If you're
which
not
also
breathing, yeah.
causes, right, you're not breathing, your hematocrit is going up from the sleep
Yeah.
apnea, from the testosterone, and then the Primo on top might send you over the edge, even if it's a low dose of one
Mhm.
ampule per week. It might send you over the edge to the point you need to donate every 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. Get your sleep apnea addressed first before you add in an erythropoietic compound like testosterone, especially primobolan,
Yeah.
because all these things compound.
And there's I don't have it here on my desk, but there's a device called a Loki, Lookee,
Okay.
which is not expensive. It's $100, and you basically wear it on your wrist, and it has this extended cord that goes to your finger with a red
Mm-hmm.
light, and it measures
Yeah.
your blood oxygen levels continuously through the night. So if you're
Ah,
unsure
okay.
if you have sleep apnea, get that little device. It's $100, and it's got a great little app. It'll download all the data via Bluetooth, and it'll tell you what your concentration of blood oxygen levels is throughout the entire
Mm-hmm.
night. It's a really,
Oh,
really
that's
cool device.
great.
Yeah.
That's very good. Well, I will have to look into that because I've been telling my clients to record themselves on a webcam all
No,
night
no, it's the
and then
best thing, honestly.
go through the footage to see if they're gasping, right? So
Yeah,
this is far better.
it's actually more accurate than this Aura Ring because
Mhm.
of how it collects the data because it uses this bright red light to basically collect the blood oxygen levels. This thing
Mhm.
will say sometime like, and it also tracks your pulse rate too. So this thing sometimes will not pick up on the spikes in my heart rate, and sometimes when I'm sleeping, like through the function of dreaming or something that might be going on with movement, your my my heart rate will spike up like 130 beats per minute, for short bursts here and
At
there.
night.
Yeah, and then I'll take the data from the Loki
Mhm.
device and I'll compare it to my Aura Ring, and the Aura Ring doesn't even pick up on it. So it's a far
Oh,
more
really?
accurate tracking mechanism than
130.
this ring. Yeah.
That might be a little bit of sleep apnea. Do you ever wake up gasping for air? You have any dips in oxygen levels?
Yeah, the SpO2 dips sometimes, but
Mhm.
it's not as dramatic as it used to be. So a couple of things that I did to fix the sleep apnea problem, which I haven't completely corrected yet, is I got a chili pad mattress. So it
Mhm.
lowers my blood temperature, or it's not my blood temperature, but it lowers your core temperature a
Right.
bit, so you sleep better. And I've also
Mhm.
found sleeping on my right side is
Yeah.
the best way to keep the air passage clear, right? So as
Right.
long as I'm sleeping, yeah, sometimes you slobber a little bit and you're waking up with a little bit of drool on the pillow, but
Whatever.
whatever.